What's up, guys? We're here with another LLDS deck profile, and this is first place PK Fire from this week. And Brad's going to tell us a little bit about it himself. So go ahead, man. Talk it away. Take it away.
Hello.
Talk it away. Take it away. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I played PK Fire. I was gonna play Pendulum, and then I got really fucked off because I kept losing to anti-spell and not like actual player interaction. Like I think PK Fire is like the only reason why it's the best deck, or considered the best deck, is because it can play anti-spell. If it couldn't play anti-spell, then Pendulum would be the best deck without a doubt. So yeah, the deck's otherwise just like. So going into the list, the deck's just incredibly standard. I did like net deck Chris LeBlanc to begin with. Shout outs to him, I guess. And I referenced other players like Tommy Rowe, hence the stuff like Vanity's Fiend in the sideboard. And I also conferred with my friend Chris Duracell Morel.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's 42 cards. I didn't want to go above. I did contemplate playing 44, but that would have been with like, what was it? I don't know, I forget. But it was like 44 cards at one point. I think it was like, instead of the 2 main deck maxi, it would have been like 3 Commungus and 3 anti-spell in the main deck. But I thought you just start drawing more cards that just aren't engine cards, so you just got really shit. So yeah, it's just like everything's really standard aside from like the main deck kaijus are have become more of a modern day trend because the mirror match is more anticipated. So I was gonna main deck anti-spell because like it's just broken. But then I thought like I wasn't anticipating a lot of pendulum matchups, but more like mirror matches. And which was funny because then like rounds 1 and 2 of the LLDS, I played against Pendulum round 1, so I was like fuck, lost game 1 and had to win games 2 and 3, and then round 2 I played against Metal Foes, and I had to win game 3 with anti-spell because I'm good like that. And it was scary as well because game 2 he won by going first and just having Kieran Jaugen, and that's like terrifying. It's not even terrifying, it's just over. So yeah, so the main deck's like standard. The extra deck is literally like template. I was gonna play 3 Dante, but then like Chris talked me into like playing Rhapsody instead of the second Dante, because after in testing I was like, it never comes up, and then I was like, oh, fine, I'll just chuck in Rhapsody for lols. And I kept going like, fuck, where's my third Dante? So yeah, I would play 3 Dante if I had to play this shit deck again. Then the sideboard's like the extra Commungus. Like the Kaijus are really sick against going second against like the Mirror and Blue Eyes. Or even like Kirin. Like the cool thing is like you can take out stuff like traps and just chuck in like the Commungus for going second primarily. Just to smash, like, yeah, it was for like Blue Eyes. I did that a lot as well. I played against my friend in the final round, and Kaiju did his Spirit, and then he just had like nothing left. That's why that deck's terrible. Like, it's linear as fuck, and then like if you get Kaiju, it loses. Vanity's Fiend, that stole a lot of games. Like, and then in the final round, like my final board in game 3 was Beatrice, Vanity's Fiend, Grand Pulse, and a set Fogblade. So naturally I won. Flying Sea was again like I anticipated the mirror and played no mirror matches, which was really fucking irritating. So Ghost Reapers were unnecessary. The flying seas were unnecessary. And then the pendulum holes were just like excess as well. Like pointless really, because anti-spell and strike do enough. So yeah.
Why did you play Vanity's Fiend? Was it for the mirror?
It's for going first against stuff like Blue Eyes, the mirror match, Metal Foes, because they can't joug in the Vanity's Fiend either. They just can't play effectively. They need to like have the really like poor outs, and then usually like if it they need to have like really poor outs. Like I played against Blue Eyes. When I played against Blue Eyes, I summoned Vanity's Fiend, Dante, and he had Swords of Concealing Light. which sets them. It didn't remove the problem perfectly. It just like set them. I think he misplayed though as well, because then like he couldn't attack over it. He couldn't attack over the Vanity's Fiend, so he just passed turn. And so I summoned Tour Guide. I made Grand Pulse, and I popped the swords, and then just like that's how I made the board of Grand Pulse, Beatrice, Vanity's Fiend. So yeah, Vanity's Fiend going first is just stupid. Just wins you games, because then if you back that up with like an anti-spell or a solemn strike, you're guaranteed to win. But
I don't really like it just because you can't play under it yourself at all. Like, obviously, your opponent can't either, but I mean,
usually the idea is that you just try and get ahead, like with Vanity's Fiend, because you're like, because you have the monster that's like running over their shit, you're keeping tempo, I guess, and they have to use resources to get rid of it. And it's also just good if you're going into time or you're going first. And also especially good if you can like back it up with something else. Like I remember in testing, like people do the really poor thing of like fog blading it during my turn, so that I can just go like, okay, I'll summon like 2 Phantom Knights or Terratop or Tour Guide, and I'll make Grand Pulse. So not only do I like Grand Pulse the Fog Blade, and then I have Grand Pulse and Vanity's Fiend, but now you just can't play. You just allow me to just like have 2 monsters now that are applying pressure. So Desires was also pretty funny. I lost a game because I desired away Tour Guide, Seer, and Graph. Again, I was just like, fuck, I have to win this game as soon as I can. And I almost won, but like he just had like, like just enough to win, like the return of the Dragon Lord's Engraved to protect the Blue Eyes from a Breaksword pop and stuff like that. But Desires was like, it was good. It wasn't amazing, but it's just like that's the nature of the card. Really, it's not really what I would call an amazing card. It's just necessary.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything then. So
yeah.
Did you mention changes? I think third Dante over like something. That's about it.
Third Dante. I think everything else is pretty standard, pretty solid. I don't think I'd expect any Pendulum matchups to the point. If Pendulum became more of a played deck going forward, because Metal Foes after the UDS in America, I'm pretty sure like people are considering Metal Foes more, because that deck actually has like a considerable amount of outs to stuff like Anti-Spell. So I'd imagine like Anti-Spell could be mained in the future, but like you'd have to like take a bunch of shit out, like God knows what. But yeah, honestly, I don't know. I don't really intend to play this deck anymore. I think it's beyond stale. So fuck BA.
Well, that's the profile. Thanks guys for watching. Check it out.
Thanks.
Comment. Let me know your thoughts. And this has been Brad's first place deck profile.
Thank.